Hello and welcome or welcome back to my channel. First of all, happy new year, happy 2025. I hope everyone managed to have a good holidays, and if you don't celebrate, I hope you still had a fantastic time. In today's video, we are bringing back the TBR jar once again. I went back on my channel and realized we've been doing this for like a year and a half at this point, and we're not gonna let it die now. We're gonna keep the tradition going strong. So how my TBR jar works, I pick out 8 prompts from this jar and it basically leads me all over my bookshelves, sometimes onto Amazon, sometimes onto Kindle Unlimited, but I basically get to pick out 8 random books that align with the random prompts that I choose. Now, if you don't know what a TBR is, it stands for to be read, and it's basically just a stack of books that I am aiming to read on this occasion within the next month. Also, please don't mind what my hair's doing today. It's got a mind of its own. We're not going to talk about it. Also, don't look at the back of my head because I'm scared of what that's gonna look like. But let's get into picking the first prompt. I have put some new prompts in the jar for this month. I've put some fantasy and fantasy romance specific prompts in because I'm kind of like low-key declaring 2025 the year of fantasy and fantasy romance for myself. So let's get into picking the first prompt. Okay. Oh, she's folded up nice and small. Let's have a look. Okay, we haven't had this prompt in a hot second. It is for an author whose first or last name starts with the first letter of the month. So we're going to be looking for an author, I've already seen one, whose first or last name starts with J for January. Okay, I've got 2 options. Fall of Wrath and Ruin by Jennifer L. Armentrout. That one was on my TBR last month in December, but I didn't get to it. But I've also seen, I have my stack of Christmas books right beside me here. Also seen Rain and Ruin by J.D. Evans. Bestie Casey actually bought me this one and it sounds very, very interesting. Now a new war is coming. Science and machines to replace magic and old religion. So this book sounds like it's going to be sort of a fight to keep magic almost. It talks about like enlisting the help of mages that were cast out centuries ago in a brutal and bloody war who wield the forbidden power of death. It also sounds like a very opposites attract kind of thing where it's like night and day, dusk and dawn, at the end and the beginning, the restlessness to her calm, the peace for her temptress. This sounds really fascinating. It also talks about, I'm just purely going off the back of the book, I can't remember where I even saw this book. It might have been on Book Talk. But it also talks about how potentially their magic like balances each other and she's like fit to rule and potentially gonna overtake the kingdom, but he's like not gonna let his people go. I'm not really sure. I don't know. This sounds really fascinating. The cover also so sick. I really, really like it. And the entire book has like print all over the pages. You can see it's all grey here because every single page has a border, which is kind of fun, kind of fancy. I think I'm gonna chuck this one in the TBR. It sounds really interesting. Hopefully it lives up to the cool blurb and hopefully I can get behind the writing style. Okay, book number 2. I've got another one. Oh my god, we get one of these prompts every video. I cannot make this up. It's actually a joke at this point. This prompt says to use a random color generator to pick my next book. Yeah, we somehow managed to get a random something generator every single video, and it's I promise it's not scripted. Like, hey, we're gonna go first one. Let's do it. I spelled generator horrendously wrong. Beige grey. Oh, okay. Wait a minute. Okay. I think we can work with that. So beige grey. I'm looking at my stack right here. I've just finished The Serpent and the Wings of Night. I really, really liked it up until oh, that one could work too actually. Could it? No. Up until the last like 5% where the characters just changed a little bit and one of them did something that I was like, oh, so I'm interested to see where that's going to go in the second book. Carissa's going to have to work really hard to get me to come back around. What I'm looking at is 6 Scorched Roses and The Songbird. What is it? The Songbird and the Heart of Stone. This is like the most recent release. I still have this book and The Starcoast King before I can read this one. So put her to the side. Is this beige grey? It could be a little bit dark potentially. Oh, maybe not. I'm gonna have a look at the Starcoast King before I make any decisions. Ashes on the Starcoast King. I feel like this one could be too light. I also grabbed down Where We Belong by Ashley Munoz. Like the bottom is beige grey, I suppose. My heart is telling me skip 6 Scorched Roses. I think purely because I'm on such like a Crowns of Nyaxia kick, I am gonna pick up 6 Scorched Roses. There definitely is some like beige grey in there in this like background. 6 Scorched Roses, why is that such a tongue twister, is set in the kind of like human realms of the Crowns of Nyaxia universe. universe, and there's currently a plague like going through and wiping everyone out because they pissed off one of the gods. And our main character Lilith thinks that the kind of solution to this is going to be seeking help from the eldest vampire in all the lands or something. I don't know. But he's a vampire who lives in the human world, the human island, I'm not quite sure, the human place, and she's like going to him to seek out his help, and I think she's gonna potentially harvest his blood because our main character Lilith is somewhat of a scientist and she's determined to get to the bottom of what's causing the plague and to cure it because it has unfortunately taken her sister, and it's really nasty and basically makes people shed their skin in layers of dust. Lilith is on a mission to fix it, and I'm gonna assume it might be their romance, her and the vampires. I just want to continue on in this world, to be honest, and I'm really excited to read this one. Righto, third prompt. Let's have a look. A TV show slash movie adaptation. I'm not sure I have any, at least that I haven't read. Don't look at the back of my head. I know you're looking at it. I know it's frizzy. Don't look. I'm blanking on like all movie adaptations right now. We could do Fourth Wing's being adapted, right? But I've already read it. I could do Iron Flame, but I don't want to put myself through that again. Did I see that Quicksilver is getting adapted? Why does adapted? It doesn't feel like a real world. Netflix has officially won the rights to Kelly Hart's fantasy romance book talk sensation. 7-figure deal, period, queen. Into a movie. Okay, well, I think I'm gonna grab out this absolute chunk of a book. It's huge. I never realized it was this thick. Oh my god, it's actually monstrous. Wait, maybe it's just thick paper. 581 pages. I think it's just really thick paper, right? I'm gonna put this one on the TBR. Do I know much about it? No. I did see the setting of this is like a winter, really snowy, icy landscape, right? Like she goes from a desert into this like snowy tundra. When Ceres comes face to face with death himself, she inadvertently reopens a gateway between realms and is transported to Evalia, a land of ice and snow. The Fae have always been the stuff of myth, of legend, of nightmares, but it turns out they're real, and Ceres has landed in the center of a centuries long conflict that might just get her killed. So, is she human? The first of her kind to enter Evalia in over 1,000 years, Ceres mistakenly binds herself to Kingfisher, a handsome Fae warrior with an agenda of his own. He will use her powers to protect his people, no matter what it costs him or her. Death has a name. It is Kingfisher of the Age-Young Gate. His past is murky, his attitude stinks, and he's the only way Ceres is gonna make it home. It's giving A Court of Thorns and Roses. It's giving Tamlin promising to take Feyre home, whatever it was. Oh. Christmas card with some cash inside. Oh, and these came from Christmas, which is why this was a Christmas present, which is why there's gift cards and money. I think I am gonna put Quicksilver on my TBR. I'm a little bit apprehensive about it because, as I just said, it does mirror ACOTAR in a few ways, and I've also heard that there's some plot holes, but I am not the most observant reader, so I don't know if I'm even gonna like stumble across them or pick them up. So I'm hopefully gonna get to Quicksilver this month. Such a thick book, it's actually insane. Okay, book number 4. You're kidding. A book with a randomly generated word in the title. We're back on our randomly generated bullshit, I guess. So now we're gonna have to struggle through a word generator. Headquarters. Correspond. Preach. Assessment. Squeeze. Plead. Regard. No. Voter. Sleeve. Terrace. Module. Letter. Surely. No letter, I guess. This is actually painful. Playing for Keeps. Do I have that as a physical book? Where is that? Have I read it? Where am I looking? Never mind, I thought it was a Monica Murphy book. Apparently it's not. Playing for Keeps. Oh, that's the Becca Mac series, isn't it? Oh, god damn it. Presence, production, snap, consumer, cultural, barrel, litigation. Litigation and jail? Okay. I feel like I'm just slowly deflating. Conglomerate. You're gonna give me conglomerate? Last. There's gotta be something. I'm actually gonna cry. First Down by Grace Riley. I've talked about this book a couple of times before in my TBR JAR videos where I've said that I've not really wanted to read it. Maybe as a little quick palette cleanser in between some fantasy romance or something, I might pick it up. It's between, I'm pretty sure, like a football player, potentially quarterback, no idea, and the team's photographer by the looks of things. Oh, it's also giving star student tutors the athlete. Okay, that's fun. I'm gonna read this one. The reason I said that I'm not the most interested in it is because I've tried reading it before. I got like a chapter or two in and I just didn't love it. It didn't grab me. I wasn't in love with the writing style. But, you know, I think I'm gonna be open to going back and giving it another go. It's not even 300 pages, so it'll be a really, really easy, super quick read. So I'm gonna chuck it on my TBR. I'm just glad that we finally got a word that could work. Book number 5. A book, this is fun, a book by another, I can't talk. A book by an author you've never read before. Part of me wants to read When the Moon Hatched. Another part of me wants to read Phantasma. I still want to read Bloodguard because I didn't get around to that in December. I've read from Kennedy Ryan before, so I can't do that. I also have Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. We have Fear the Flames by Olivia Rose Darling. I'm a little bit intrigued by that one. I heard that, I don't want to be a negative Nelly right now, but a lot of the reviews that I heard when it was self-published, indie published, was that it was not fantastic. But I've also heard that a lot of changes were made to it when it got traditionally published, and I have the traditionally published version, so I'm a little bit curious. Let me actually find out what it's about and read the blurb before I jump in. There's dragons, so already I'm a little bit convinced. I draw a sword from my waist and use it to block the woman's swing. Man charges, and I have just enough time to pivot and block his blow before he shoves me back. I think I'm gonna choose something else. I'm not in love with the writing style. I've seen a different book that I want to read. Spark of the Everflame by Penn Cole. I discovered this book on KU like a couple of months ago. In one of these videos, it was just like in my recommended, and I was like, oh, but it didn't fit the prompt. But I have the opportunity to read it now. The blurb sounded really, really interesting from what I remember. It says, when old secrets catch fire, everything will burn. An immortal world colonized by the gods and ruled over by the Descended, their cruel magic-willed offspring, Diemme Bellator yearns to escape the insular life of her poor village. When her mother suddenly disappears and Diemme discovers a dangerous secret about her past, she seizes an unexpected opportunity to enter the dark world of Descended royalty and unlock the web of mysteries her mother left behind. With the Dying King's handsome, enigmatic heir watching her every move and a ruthless rebel alliance recruiting her to join the growing civil war, Diemme will have to navigate the unwritten rules of love, power, and politics in order to save her family and all of mortal kind. Oh, this paperback includes an exclusive bonus chapter limited to this edition. I feel like the blurb that I read on Kindle Unlimited sounded a lot more interesting than that. I've heard a lot of fantastic reviews from it. I swear, like, every booktuber that I've seen read this book has fallen head over heels for it. So I think I'm gonna chuck it on the TBR. I'm a little bit skeptical because Miss Girl's name is DM, but we're gonna do it anyway. Book number 6, a book closest to 300 pages. So we're gonna have to scour my bookshelves and try and find a book that is close to 300 pages. I'm gonna start with the ones right next to me. 368, 282, 360 plus. Got Slave to Sensation by Nalini Singh. One of my sisters bought me this one. 340 something pages. Kingmaker by Kennedy. How did I manage to do that? Anyway, we have Kingmaker by Kennedy Ryan. Bestie KC bought me this one. 350-ish pages. Emily Wilde's 315. I think I'm gonna call it at Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. I'm a little bit curious. It's not, I don't think, my typical sort of taste in these kind of books, like a little cutesy fairy, little potions, mushrooms, magic, living in a little enchanted forest. I don't think that's my kind of vibe, but I'm still interested to check it out. Emily has no intention of befriending the gruff townsfolk, nor does she care to spend time with another new arrival, her insufferably dashing rival, Wendell. But as Emily gets closer to uncovering the secrets of the Hidden Ones, the most elusive of all fairies, she also finds herself on the trail of another mystery. Who is Wendell? And what does he really want? To find the answer, she'll have to unlock the greatest mystery of all, her own heart. Very whimsical and heartwarming tale you'll read this year. I'm gonna put it on the TBR. Okay, what are we up to? Book number 7. A fantasy world with extreme weather, in brackets, deserts, snow, etc. So I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. I put this prompt in the TBR jar to get Quicksilver because obviously it's got the desert into the snowy environment, but The Serpent and the Wings of Night is set in a desert, basically like she talks about sandy dunes and like the heat and like the piercing sun. So I could do Ashes and the Star-Cursed King, and it gets even more extreme because like a war breaks out or something, so like fire and smoke and global warming. I'm gonna let myself have this one, and I'm gonna choose the Ashes of the Star-Cursed King by Carissa Broadbent, purely because I want to get through this series and see. I can't really talk about this book at all without giving you spoilers for Seven of the Wings of Night, but I really want to get into this one and see how Carissa is gonna tidy up the ending that she left The Serpent and the Wings of Night on, because it was rough. I've heard in reviews that it's very repetitive, which I'm not really looking forward to. But as I said, I want to see how Carissa gets the two characters out of the pickle that they're currently in. My TBR is looking really chunky and it's a little bit intimidating. Oh. Ooh. This prompt says to read a book by my favorite author. You know, being perfectly honest, I'm not sure who my favorite author is anymore. It used to be Cora Riley, but since her Next Generation series, I'm not really loving her books, so I don't know that I can call her my favorite author anymore. I would say Danielle L. Jensen, but I've read one book by her, so I don't know that I can call her my favorite either. I obviously have a lot of Sophie Lark over there, but I've not read her in a long time, so I don't know that I could call her a favorite. I love Candy Steiner, but equally her books have been letting me down recently. I don't think I have a favorite author. I might have to look in my Kindle library, I'm not gonna lie. I, for some reason, just don't have a favorite author at the moment. Can I repick? I'm gonna repick that prompt, because that's giving me a lot of anguish and I'm having an identity crisis right now. Please be good on a 3-word title. Let's see how we go. We could do Slave to Sensation by Nalini Singh. We could do Where We Belong by Ashley Munoz. Fear the Flames. We could finally finish Bourbon and Lies. That actually sounds a little bit tempting, I can't lie. Tutoring the Player by Rebecca Jenshak. You know what? I think I'm gonna finally finish Bourbon and Lies. I'm 53% of the way through and I've just been like feeling the need to finish it recently. I'm like, I've not officially DNF'd it, but I just kind of like stopped reading it for a little bit and I'm like, I may as well finish it, right? I'm over halfway. I can't bring myself to properly DNF it. Oh, she is dusty girl. I've been reading it on my Kindle in my defense. Oh, that's ridiculous. I've been somewhat enjoying it. It's not like the most impressive book. It's not anything groundbreaking. It's just like your stereotypical small town romance. Lainey, our heroine, is kind of on the run from her past. We don't know why yet, but she's been put in this like witness protection program on these guys' bourbon distillery farm, and she's basically just getting to know all the brothers and slowly developing a little bit of a romance with one of them. It's not a book that requires a whole lot of brain power, which is really nice, especially looking at the rest of the lineup on my TBR right now. Hopefully that final 50% can turn the book around for me and actually hold my attention. Oh my god, that is a jam-packed TBR pile. I did not foresee my TBR becoming that juicy, let me just say. But let's have a little recap. First up, we have a 3-word title, and I chose Bourbon and Lies by Victoria Wilder. Then we have a fantasy world with extreme weather conditions, in brackets deserts and snow, and I'm going to pick up the Ashes and the Star-Cursed King. Then we have a book closest to 300 pages, and I'm picking up Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia to Fairies, of Fairies, I should say. Then we have a book by an author I have never read from before, and I'm going to be picking up A Spark of the Everflame by Penn Cole. Then we have a book with a randomly generated word in the title, and I went through hell and back to try and find a word that I could use, but we finally landed on First, so I'm gonna read First Down by Grace Riley. Then we have the prompt of a TV show / movie adaptation. I don't have any books that have already been adapted that I haven't read, so we're gonna read Quicksilver by Kelly Hart, which hopefully will get adapted. Then we had the prompt for a random color generator, and we got beige gray, I think, and I'm gonna choose 6 Scorched Roses. And last but certainly not least, we have an author whose first or last name starts with the first letter of the month, which is J for January. So I'm going to be reading Rain and Ruin by JD Evans. And there we have my entire huge TBR for the month of January. In my opinion, this is very ambitious. I'm hopefully going to get to a good handful of them. I definitely know I'm going to get to the Carissa Broadbent books, and definitely some of the other fantasy romances have me very excited. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you've enjoyed this video. Please let me know down below in the comments if you've read any of these books, because I'd love to hear your opinions. I'd love for you to give me a sneaky little recommendation, and also if you have any suggestions for prompts that you want to see in the TBR, prompt jar, please comment those down below as well, because I'm always looking for new prompts and I would love to put some more in the jar. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Once again, if you did enjoy this video, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, because I would love to have you here. Definitely keep an eye out for some reading vlogs this month, including some of these books, because I do have some big plans for my channel this coming year. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will hopefully see you in the next one. Bye!